A girl of 19 years old and black stood alone in the defendant's box. But she cost the system its arrogance, and it gave an innocent man his freedom worth more than any verdict. Carrie, Judge Harlan Whitaker, laughed when she said those words. The entire courtroom expected a quick, guilty plea. No one asked her to speak. No one thanked her in advance. She just did it. When the prosecutor finished his opening, Aaliyah Thompson made a quiet promise to herself. I'll prove this wrong. She adjusted her simple blazer. The judge scoffed louder. Little girl, this isn't playtime. The bailiff almost smirked. Aaliyah tied her grandmother's old silver bracelet tighter around her wrist. For years, vanished in her mind. She had been studying law in secret while working 2 jobs. Tonight, she'd walk into that same courtroom, not as a defendant, but as the one who reversed everything. Neither the judge nor the prosecutor knew they were seconds away from humiliation. Aaliyah Thompson woke at 5:30 a.m. in a small apartment in Southside Chicago that smelled of coffee and determination. 1 bedroom, cracked ceiling. Lake Michigan was miles away, but she could feel its pull. Sunrise barely touched the blinds. She didn't notice. She never did. The coffee maker gurgled cheap grounds. $1.20 machine from Walmart. She pressed start and walked away before it finished. Her closet held 3 blazers, all secondhand, all pressed perfect. She grabbed the navy one without looking. The apartment was quiet. Always quiet. No photos on the walls except one, her and her father, taken before the arrest. Nothing that said someone dreamed big here. It looked like survival. Felt like hope deferred. Her phone buzzed. Her boss at the diner. Shift starts at 7. But today was different. It's court at 9. Wrongful arrest charge against her father. Aaliyah texted back. I'll be late. It's family emergency. She felt everything. She walked to her tiny desk, unlocked a drawer. Inside, a small folder containing her bar exam results. Passed on first try. This was the only thing that mattered now. She touched the paper gently. 4 years old. The ink was still sharp. Every night she looked at it. Every night the same thought. Today I use it. The courtroom was predictable. Wooden benches, fluorescent lights, murmurs of deals being made in hallways. Aaliyah's father, Marcus Thompson, 48, sat in orange, wrists cuffed, eyes down. Wrong place, wrong time. Caught in a raid meant for someone else. Evidence planted. Maybe. Justice blind. Not today. The prosecutor, smug in his tailored suit, opened. Your Honor, the defendant has no counsel. Plea guilty. Quick sentence. Judge Whitaker nodded. Let's move this along. Aaliyah stood. Your Honor, I am the defense attorney. The room went still for half a second. Then laughter rippled. The judge leaned forward. Excuse me, young lady, you, a defense attorney? Aaliyah met his eyes. Yes, sir. Admitted to the Illinois bar last month. Top 5% of my class. The judge scoffed. Credentials. Show me, or sit down before I cite you for contempt. Aaliyah pulled out her bar card and license, handed it to the bailiff. The bailiff walked it up. Judge Whitaker glanced, then stared. His face changed from amusement to confusion, to shock. The courtroom froze. Whispers died. The prosecutor dropped his pen. How? The judge muttered. Aaliyah spoke calm. I studied nights after shifts, online courses, scholarships from community funds. My father taught me justice isn't given, it's fought for. Marcus looked up for the first time, tears in his eyes. Baby. Aaliyah turned to her father. I promised you, Dad, when I was 15 and they took you away the first time, I'd learn the law. I'd bring you home clean. The judge cleared his throat. This is irregular, but the card is valid. Proceed, Miss Thompson. The prosecutor stammered. Objection. She's too young. The judge shot him a look. Overruled. She's licensed. Let's hear her. Aaliyah opened her file. Your Honor, the evidence is tainted. Body cam footage edited. Witness coerced. I have affidavits. She clicked a remote. Screen showed discrepancies. Time stomps off. Voices mismatched. The prosecutor paled. Aaliyah continued. This isn't about one man. It's about a system that sees black skin and assumes guilt. My father was targeted because of his address, not his actions. She paused. I grew up 3 blocks from here. Saw friends disappear into the system. My grandmother raised me after Mom left. KB. We may not have much, but we always fight with truth. That day, they arrested Dad. I was in high school. Watched from the window. Police didn't knock. Just broke in. Dad said nothing wrong. They said drugs. Found nothing. But the charge stuck. Probation. Then this new frame-up. The judge listened. For the first time, no scoff. Aaliyah's voice never wavered. I passed the bar to do this. Not for money. For him. For every Marcus Thompson. She looked at the jury. Saw him, nodded. One wiped a tear. The prosecutor tried to interrupt. Your Honor, Aaliyah, cut in. Permission to call my first witness. Granted. A former officer walked in. Nervous. Aaliyah asked calm. Did you alter the footage? The officer looked down. Yes. Order 2. The courtroom gasped. Aaliyah turned to the judge. Motion to dismiss. With prejudice. The judge sat back. Stunned. Recess. 15 minutes. In the hallway, Marcus hugged his daughter. How? Aaliyah whispered. Because you believed I could. They cried together. The judge in chambers stared at the bar card. He had laughed. He had underestimated. Now the case reversed. In the system. It was about to feel the weight of one girl's promise. The courtroom felt smaller after the recess. The air was thick with whispers and the faint smell of old wood polish. Judge Whitaker returned to the bench slower than usual, his robes swishing like he carried extra weight. He sat, adjusted his glasses, looked at Aaliyah Thompson, standing there 19 years old, black, female, and somehow holding a valid bar card in a system that rarely let people like her through the door. The prosecutor, Daniel Hargrove, 42, white, Ivy League polished, kept glancing at his notes as if they might rewrite themselves. Aaliyah's father, Marcus, still in orange, now sat straighter. His eyes never left his daughter. Judge Whitaker cleared his throat. Ms. Thompson, you may proceed with your witness. But I warn you, this courtroom runs on facts, not feelings. Aaliyah nodded. At your honor. She turned. The bailiff called, former officer Jamal Carter. A tall black man in his late 30s walked in, uniform replaced by a plain gray suit. He looked nervous, eyes darting to the prosecutor, then to Aaliyah. He took the oath. Aaliyah approached the stand, calm, like she had rehearsed this moment 1,000 nights in her tiny apartment. Officer Carter, you were on the scene the night my father was arrested, correct? Yes, ma'am. Describe what happened. The officer swallowed. We received a tip anonymous about drug activity at the address, 1427 South Langley. We executed a no-knock warrant at 2:17 a.m. Aaliyah clicked the projector again. Screen showed the warrant. Timestamp, 2:17 a.m., but body cam footage submitted by the state starts at 2:32 a.m. Where are the missing 15 minutes? The officer shifted. Technical glitch. Aaliyah raised an eyebrow. Glitch or edit? Objection. Hargrove jumped up. Speculation. Judge Whitaker leaned forward. Overruled. Answer the question, officer. Carter looked down. We received instruction to trim the footage, to remove preliminary conversation. What conversation? Aaliyah pressed. Between officers. One said, this is the Thompson guy. DA wants him off the street. Clant, if you have to. Gasps rippled through the gallery. Hargrove's face went red. Your Honor, this is hearsay. Aaliyah turned. It's not hearsay if he was there. And I have the unedited file. She held up a USB drive, obtained legally through a whistleblower subpoena. The judge's eyes narrowed. Bring it forward. The bailiff took the drive. Minutes later, the full footage played. Audio clear, voices unmistakable. Make sure it sticks this time. Thompson's been clean too long. DA's got pressure from up top. The courtroom went dead silent. Aaliyah Thompson covered his mouth, tears streaming. Aaliyah's voice stayed steady. Officer Carter, who gave that order. The officer looked straight at the prosecutor. Mr. Hargrove. He was on the radio. Hargrove shot up. That's a lie. I never did. Judge banged the gavel. Sit down, counsel, or I'll hold you in contempt. Aaliyah continued. Officer, why come forward now? Carter met her eyes. Because I have a daughter, same age as you. I couldn't sleep knowing I helped frame an innocent man. My conscience wouldn't let me. Aaliyah nodded. Thank you. No further questions. The judge looked shaken. Mr. Hargrove, you're cross. Hargrove stood, voice tight. Officer, isn't it true you were disciplined last year for misconduct? Yes, but that doesn't change. Hargrove cut in. And you're testifying under immunity, correct? So, you have motive to lie? Carter shook his head. I have motive to tell the truth. Hargrove smirked. No further questions, okay? But the damage was done. The jury shifted uncomfortably. Several jurors, 2 black women, 1 older white man, were taking furious notes. Aaliyah called her next witness, Detective Lena Ramirez. A Latina woman in her 40s took the stand. She had been the lead on the raid. Aaliyah asked direct, Detective, did you plant evidence? No. Did you see anyone plant evidence? Pause. I suspected, but I didn't report it. Why? Because I needed the job. My family depends on it, and the pressure from the DA's office was tense. Aaliyah showed emails, chain from Hargrove's office. Close this case, fast. Thompson is a problem. Ramirez nodded. Yes, that's real. Aaliyah turned to the judge. Your Honor, pattern of misconduct, coerced witnesses, fabricated evidence. This isn't one bad apple. This is a rotten tree. The judge rubbed his temples. Ms. Thompson, this is highly irregular, but the evidence is compelling. Recess for 1 hour. I need to review these files. As people filed out, Marcus whispered to Aaliyah, Baby, how did you get all this? Aaliyah squeezed his hand. I promised you 4 years ago, when they first took you, I'd learn everything. I'd fight dirty if I had to, but clean, with truth. Marcus cried harder. I never thought my little girl would save me. Aaliyah wiped her own tears. You saved me first, Dad. Every day you worked double shifts. Every time you told me education is the key. This is me using it. In the hallway, reporters started gathering. Phones out. Whispers turned to buzz. She's only 19. She passed the bar. The judge laughed at her. Aaliyah ignored them. She sat on a bench, touched her grandmother's silver bracelet, the one her grandma gave her the night before she died. For this, when you need strength, baby. It's got generations in it. Aaliyah closed her eyes. Grandma, I'm fighting, just like you taught me. The hour passed slow. When they returned, Judge Whitaker looked different. No scoff, no amusement, just gravity. Court is back in session. Ms. Thompson, you may present closing. Aaliyah stood. Your Honor, members of the jury. My father is not perfect, but he is innocent. The state didn't prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. They manufactured it because of his skin, his address, his past minor record. This isn't justice. This is convenience. I became a lawyer to change that, one case at a time, starting with this one. She paused. Let my father go home. Let him breathe free air. Let the system remember. We see you. And we're watching back. The jury filed out. The courtroom held its breath. Aaliyah sat beside her father. hand in his. Minutes felt like hours. Then the door opened. Jury returning. Fast, too fast. The foreman stood. We find the defendant not guilty on all counts. The room erupted. Cheers. Cries. Marcus Thompson stood. Cuffs removed. He hugged Aaliyah so tight she could barely breathe. Thank you. Thank you. The judge banged once. Order. Then, softer. Ms. Thompson. I owe you an apology. I underestimated you. That won't happen again. Aaliyah nodded. Just do better, Your Honor. For everyone. Outside the courthouse, cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. Aaliyah held her father's hand. "Okay." One reporter asked, "How does it feel?" Aaliyah looked at Marcus. "It feels like the beginning, not the end. Because there are thousands more like him. And I'm just getting started." The courthouse steps felt colder than usual that afternoon. Chicago wind cut through Aaliyah's blazer as she and Marcus walked out together. In street clothes for the first time in months, her still clutching the bar cart like a talisman. Cameras flashed, microphones thrust forward. "Ms. Thompson, how does it feel to beat the system at 19? Mr. Thompson, will you sue?" Aaliyah raised one hand. "No comment right now. Just want to go home." Marcus squeezed her shoulder. "Let's get out of here, baby." They slipped into a waiting Uber courtesy of a community organizer who'd been watching the live stream. As the car pulled away, Aaliyah looked back at the building. She had won today, but she knew the system didn't lose gracefully. Back in the small apartment, Marcus sat on the worn couch and just breathed. No cuffs, no buzzing fluorescent lights. It's quiet. Aaliyah made coffee strong, black, the way he liked it. She handed him the mug. He took it with shaking hands. "I never thought I'd see this day." Aaliyah sat beside him. I never stopped believing it. They talked for hours about the years lost, about the nights she studied law books borrowed from the library while he sat in county jail writing her letters. "Keep going, baby. Let them break you." She had read every one aloud to herself before bed. Flashback hit her hard while washing dishes later. She was 12. Marcus had just been arrested, the first time small possession charge, but enough to trigger probation. The police had come at dawn. Leah hid behind the doorframe, watching them cuff her father. One officer looked at her and said, "Stay in school, kid. Don't end up like him." Marcus shouted back, "She won't. She's smarter than all of you." At night, Aaliyah cried into her pillow. Her grandmother found her, sat on the edge of the bed. "Okay, baby. They want you to believe you're less. Okay. But inside, you got fire. Use it to build, not burn." Grandma gave her the silver bracelet that night. Read, "When the world tries to make you small." Aaliyah never took it off after that. The next morning brought the backlash. Leah's phone buzzed nonstop. Emails from the Illinois Bar Association. Routine inquiry regarding possible ethical concerns in your representation of a family member. Anonymous posts online calling her affirmative action lawyer and worse. Racist, slurs, threats. She cheated the system. Watch your back, little girl. Then the call she dreaded from Daniel Hargrove's office. Voice message. "It's Thompson. We need to talk. Off the record. About your future in this city." Aaliyah deleted it, but her stomach twisted. At the diner, where she still worked part-time, her boss pulled her aside. "Honey, reporters outside, some guys in suits asking questions. You okay?" Aaliyah forced a smile. "I'm fine." But inside, she wasn't. She clocked out early, walked to the community center 3 blocks away, the same one where she'd volunteered since high school, tutoring kids who looked like her younger self. Miss Evelyn, the director, 68, gray braids and sharp eyes, hugged her tight. "Saw the news. Child, you did good. But they're coming for you now." Aaliyah nodded. "I know." Miss Evelyn handed her a folder. Applications, scholarships, law firms, but also letters from kids she'd helped. "You changed my life, Miss Aaliyah, I want to be a lawyer like you. Aaliyah's eyes filled. This is why I did it. That evening, a knock at the apartment door. Leah opened it, cautious. A young black woman stood there mid-20s, dreads pulled back, wearing a hoodie from the local law school clinic. I'm Nia Jackson, third-year law student. I watched your trial live. I want to help. Aaliyah blinked. Help? How? Nia smiled. You're not alone anymore. There's a group of young lawyers, paralegals, activists. We call ourselves Justice Circle. We've been waiting for someone like you to light the match. Aaliyah let her in. They talked until midnight. Nia showed stats. Wrongful convictions in Cook County, disproportionately black men. Cases dismissed after years because of misconduct, just like Hargrove's. Aaliyah listened, then said quiet, I want to do more than one case. Kana nodded. Then, let's build something bigger. The next week was chaos. Leah received a formal complaint from the DA's office, professional misconduct, conflict of interest in representing family. She filed a response herself, 2 pages, single-spaced, citing precedent after precedent. The bar scheduled a hearing, but something shifted. Supporters appeared. A GoFundMe started by strangers raised $12,000 in 48 hours for Aaliyah Thompson's future of justice. Local news ran features. Teen lawyer clears father's name now faces retaliation. Protests formed outside the courthouse. Signs read, Hands off Aaliyah and justice isn't age restricted. In her room one night, Aaliyah sat at her desk, opened her laptop, started drafting. Not a defense, a plan. A non-profit legal aid clinic focused on wrongful convictions and police misconduct, targeted Southside, free for low-income families, staffed by young lawyers and law students, funded by grants, donations, maybe even crowdfunding. She named it in her head, the Silver Bracelet Project, after Grandma, after strength passed down. She whispered to the empty room, this isn't over, it's just beginning. Marcus knocked softly, saw the screen. What's that? Aaliyah turned. Our next fight, Dad. Together. He hugged her from behind. I'm proud of you, more than you know. Aaliyah touched the bracelet. Me too. Outside, Chicago slept under streetlights, but in that small apartment, 2 people dreamed bigger than the city itself. And somewhere, the system felt the first real tremor of change. The Illinois Bar Association hearing room smelled of polished oak and old coffee. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting harsh shadows on the long table where 5 disciplinary board members sat 3 white men in their 60s, 1 Asian woman in her 50s, and 1 black man, mid-40s, who watched Aaliyah with quiet intensity. Aaliyah Thompson, now 19 and a half, stood at the podium in her navy blazer, silver bracelet catching the light. No lawyer beside her. She represented herself. Again, the complaint read aloud by the chair. Conflict of interest, potential unauthorized practice prior to full admission. Questions regarding competence due to age and inexperience. Aaliyah's stomach tightened, but her voice stayed level. I'm ready. The chair, Mr. Reginald Pierce, adjusted his glasses. Ms. Thompson, you may make your opening statement. Aaliyah looked each board member in the eye. Became a lawyer to fight for people the system forgets. My father was one of them, and they didn't break rules. I followed them, studied harder, worked longer, passed the bar cleaner than most. If representing family is a conflict, then every public defender who fights for their community should be here too. This isn't about ethics. It's about punishing someone who exposed misconduct in the DA's office. Silence fell. Kears cleared his throat. We'll hear evidence. First witness, Daniel Hargrove himself. He walked in confident, suit crisp, smile practiced. He swore in. Mr. Hargrove, you filed this complaint? Her win was luck, not skill. Could set dangerous precedent. Leah stood for cross. Mr. Hargrove, isn't it true your office is under federal investigation for the same misconduct I exposed? Hargrove stiffened. That's unrelated. Aaliyah held up printouts, emails, subpoenas, dates, your signature on several. The board murmured. Hargrove glared. This is retaliation. Aaliyah smiled calm. No, sir. This is accountability. Next came supporters. Nia Jackson testified first. I'm a third year at Chicago Kent. Ms. Thompson mentored me pro bono. Her legal briefs are sharper than some partners. Age doesn't measure competence. Then Ms. Evelyn from the community center. That girl tutored kids, organized food drives, studied law at night, never asked for praise. She's the real deal. Then, unexpectedly, Judge Harlan Whitaker. The board raised eyebrows. He hadn't been summoned. He spoke anyway. I presided over the Thompson case. I laughed at her at first. I was wrong. She presented evidence I couldn't ignore. She reversed a wrongful conviction with facts, not flair. If we punish her, we punish the future of this profession. The room shifted. Pierce looked uncomfortable. Any more witnesses? Aaliyah raised her hand. One more. She called her father, Marcus Thompson. He walked in slow, still adjusting to freedom. He took the stand. My daughter saved my life. Not just from jail, from despair. When they took me, she was 15. She didn't cry in front of me. She studied. She promised she'd fix it, and she did. If that's a conflict of interest, then love is a crime. Tears rolled down his face. The black board member nodded slowly. Cue, Mr. Thompson. Closing arguments. Hargrove spoke last. We must protect standards. Aaliyah went after. Standards were used to keep people like me out for centuries. I met them, exceeded them. Now you want to use them as a weapon because I embarrassed powerful people. If you suspend me, you tell every young black girl dreaming of law school, stay in your place. I won't. I'll keep fighting with or without your approval. The board deliberated for 45 minutes. When they returned, Pierce stood. By unanimous vote, the complaint is dismissed. No sanctions. No reprimand. Ms. Thompson, your license remains in good standing. Applause broke from the gallery. Nia, Evelyn's supporters who'd filled the back rows. Marcus hugged Aaliyah tight. She whispered, "We did it, Dad." Outside, the press waited. This time, Aaliyah spoke. Today wasn't just about me or my father. It was about every person still waiting for justice. The Silver Bracelet Project starts next month. Free legal clinic for wrongful convictions. Focused on South Side. We're hiring, we're training, we're changing the game. Donations started pouring in before she finished. A major foundation pledged seed money $250,000, seeing the hearing live stream. That night, in the apartment, Aaliyah and Marcus sat with takeout pizza celebration style. Nia came over. They planned late. First clients, first staff, first big case. Aaliyah touched her bracelet. Grandma would be proud. Marcus smiled. She is. But across town, in a high-rise office, Daniel Hargrove stared at his computer. A new email. Federal probe expanding. Thompson case central. He closed the laptop hard. The tremor Aaliyah started. It was becoming an earthquake. And in Chicago streets, young people began tying silver strings around their wrists. Quiet promise. Where next? The Silver Bracelet Project launched quietly on a rainy Tuesday in late spring. No press conference, no ribbon cutting. Just a small storefront on East 79th Street, formerly a shuttered barbershop, painted white with a simple silver bracelet painted above the door. Inside, 4 mismatched desks, donated laptops, a coffee maker that never stopped running, and walls covered in case files and sticky notes. Aaliyah Thompson stood in the center at 7 a.m., keys in hand, heart pounding. This was it. Her promise made real. First client walked in at 8:15. Jamal Wright, 32, black, former mechanic. Wrongly convicted of armed robbery 8 years ago, based on a single eyewitness who later recanted. Served 6 years, out on parole, but record blocked every job. He sat across from Aaliyah, hands clasped tight. I saw you on the news. Thought, maybe you could help someone like me. Aaliyah listened for 40 minutes, took notes, pulled his file from the state database she'd fought to access. Then she said quiet, we're taking your case. Pro bono. Full expungement push and civil suit for wrongful conviction. Jamal's eyes filled. You serious? Aaliyah touched her bracelet. Dead serious. Within weeks, the caseload grew. Nia Jackson ran intake. K2 more law students volunteered, both from underrepresented backgrounds. A retired judge, Honorable Clara Evans, 72, white-haired and no-nonsense, offered mentorship pro bono. She'd seen too many cases like these in her 30 years on the bench. Every Thursday night, they held strategy sessions, pizza, legal pads, fierce debates. Aaliyah learned fast how to negotiate with prosecutors who suddenly got polite when they saw her name, how to file motions that made clerks nervous, how to comfort clients who'd lost decades. But challenges came hard and fast. One morning, the power got cut. Someone claimed billing error. Aaliyah paid the reconnection fee from her own savings. Then anonymous calls to the building landlord. That lawyer's trouble. Evictor. The landlord, a kind older Puerto Rican man named Mr. Rivera, refused. She's doing good here. Tay can go to hell. Funding trickled in small donations from the GoFundMe, a $5,000 grant from a local foundation, but bills piled up. Aaliyah still worked shifts at the diner 3 nights a week. Marcus helped too, fixed the leaky roof, brought home-cooked meals for the team. Flashback came one late night while filing. Aaliyah was 10. Marcus had lost his job after a false drug test at the factory planted by a supervisor. Didn't like his kind getting promotions. They ate ramen for weeks. Marcus never complained, just told her, we keep going, baby. It's one foot in front of the other. That winter, he took a second job cleaning offices at night. Came home at dawn, smelling of bleach. Kalia would wait up, make him coffee. He'd kiss her forehead. You're gonna do big things. Don't let the world tell you different. Now, staring at case files under a desk lamp, she whispered, I'm trying, Dad. The first big win arrived 3 months in. Jamal Wright's expungement hearing. Collier stood before a new judge, not Whitaker, this time, but a younger black woman, Judge Maya Coleman. Collier presented recanted testimony, alibi evidence suppressed originally, proof of prosecutorial misconduct. The judge listened, then ruled. Record expunged. Civil suit against the city approved to proceed. Jamal hugged Aaliyah outside the courtroom. Tears. Thank you. I can apply for jobs now. Real ones. Aaliyah smiled. That's just the start. Word spread. Clients lined up. A mother whose son was killed by police, wrong address. No knock. Reed asked for help filing a federal suit. A teenage boy falsely accused of carjacking. A grandmother fighting to get her grandson out of juvenile detention on trumped-up charges. The Silver Bracelet Project became more than a clinic, became hope with an address. Then the Riva revolted pestle. One evening, Aaliyah got a call from an unknown number, voice familiar. Grandma, nor her mother, Tanya Thompson, is absent since Aaliyah was 8. Left after a fight with Marcus, chased by addiction and bad choices. Tanya's voice cracked. Saw you on TV. I'm clean now. 2 years. I want to see you. Aaliyah froze. The bracelet felt heavy on her wrist. She didn't hang up. Instead, meet me at the center. Tomorrow, noon. No promises. Just talk. The next day, Tanya arrived. Thinner, eyes clearer, nervous. Aaliyah waited at the door. They stood silent for a long moment. Then Tanya spoke. I'm sorry for everything. Kalia's throat tightened. I needed you. Tanya nodded. I know. I failed you. Okay. But I'm here now, if you'll let me try. Leah looked at her mother, saw the same determined eyes she saw in the mirror. She stepped aside. Come in. We can talk. Inside, over coffee, Tanya listened to stories of the clinic, of wins, of losses. Then she said, quiet. Let me help. I'm studying paralegal now, online. I want to give back. Aaliyah hesitated, then handed her a stack of intake forms. Start with these. Tanya's hands shook as she took them. Thank you. Aaliyah touched her bracelet again. We all get second chances. Some just take longer. Outside, rain stopped. Sun broke through. The Silver Bracelet Project had its first family volunteer, and Aaliyah felt something new. It's not just justice, healing. The Silver Bracelet Project outgrew the old barbershop in under 6 months. By fall, they moved to a bigger space, 2 storefronts, combined on Cottage Grove Avenue. It's donated rent-free for a year by a local church pastor who'd seen his nephew helped by the clinic. Walls now held framed news clippings. 19-year-old lawyer clears father's name. Silver Bracelet Project wins first major expungement. Community rallies behind young attorney facing retaliation. Desks multiplied. Volunteers too. Full-time paralegal hired with a surprise grant from a National Civil Rights Foundation. Even Tanya, Aaliyah's mother, worked there daily now, organizing files, answering phones, slowly rebuilding trust, one quiet conversation at a time. The team took on their biggest case yet, a class action style suit against the city and the former DA's office. 10 plaintiffs, all black and brown men, wrongfully convicted in the same 5-year window when Daniel Hargrove ran the narcotics division. Evidence of systemic misconduct, planted drugs, coerced confessions, deleted body cam segments. Aaliyah led the filing. Nia handled discovery. Judge Clara Evans advised from the sidelines. The complaint landed like a bomb in federal court. Headlines followed. Teen lawyer takes on Chicago PD corruption ring. Then came the direct confrontation. Status hearing in the Dirksen Federal Building. Aaliyah walked in wearing her navy blazer, silver bracelet shining under courtroom lights. Across the aisle, Daniel Hargrove, now in private practice, but still representing the city on contract. He looked older, lines deeper, eyes colder. When the judge called the case, Hargrove stood first. Your Honor, this is a fishing expedition. Plaintiff's counsel is inexperienced, emotionally compromised. The judge, Honorable Raymond Patel, raised an eyebrow. Mr. Hargrove, I've read the motion to dismiss. It's denied. Discovery proceeds. Ms. Thompson. Aaliyah rose. Your Honor, we have new evidence. Internal memos from Mr. Hargrove's time as prosecutor directing officers to prioritize high-volume arrests in certain zip codes. Those zip codes, predominantly Black and Latino. We also have affidavits from 3 retired officers confirming pressure to meet quotas or else. Hargrove's jaw tightened. Speculative. Aaliyah clicked the projector. Screen filled with scanned documents. His signature on every one. The gallery packed with supporters. Family members of the plaintiffs gasped. Hargrove shot up. Objection. Attain of custody. Cada.com. Authenticated by forensic document examiner. Report attached. Kia Dutch Patel nodded. Overruled. Continue, Ms. Thompson. She turned to Hargrove directly. Mr. Hargrove, did you ever instruct officers to alter evidence? Hargrove smirked. Absolutely not. Aaliyah held up another file. Then, why does this email sent from your official account say, if the lab results don't match, make them match? Silence. Hargrove's face drained of color. That's taken out of context. Aaliyah pressed. Context being what? Covering up wrongful arrests to boost conviction rates. The judge banged once. Counsel, control yourself. But his tone held no reprimand for Aaliyah. After the hearing, Hargrove cornered her in the hallway, cameras rolling from local news. You think you can ruin me, little girl? Aaliyah met his eyes. I'm not ruining you. I'm exposing what you did. To my father. To these men. To hundreds more. You ruined yourselves. Hargrove stepped closer. You'll regret this. Aaliyah didn't flinch. I already regretted staying silent. Never again. She walked away, flanked by Nia and 2 clients. Reporters shouted questions. She answered one. This isn't personal. It's justice. And justice doesn't negotiate. Support surged. A famous civil rights attorney from New York offered co-counsel, pro bono. A documentary crew requested access. Celebrities shared the story on social media #, Silver Bracelet, trending in Chicago. Donations hit $1.2 million in a single month. This project hired 3 more attorneys, all young, diverse, hungry. They opened satellite offices in Inglewood and Austin neighborhoods, training programs for high school students interested in law. See yourself in the fight, the flyers read. But threats grew darker. Late one night, bricks through the clinic windows. Go back where you came from. Spray paint on the door. Racial slurs. Police report filed, but Aaliyah knew better than to expect quick action. The team cleaned up together at dawn. Tanya cried while sweeping glass. Aaliyah hugged her. We rebuild stronger. Marcus installed new security cameras paid from his first steady job in years, thanks to an expunged record. In the quiet, after Aaliyah sat alone in the new office, touched her bracelet. Grandma, we're still fighting. A text came from Nia. A federal judge just fast-tracked the class action. Settlement talks start next week. Aaliyah smiled through tears. The earthquake she started was shaking foundations now. And somewhere in a downtown high-rise, Daniel Hargrove stared at disbarment papers on his desk. The system he'd manipulated was finally turning on him. One young woman with a silver bracelet and unbreakable will had made sure of it. The federal courthouse in Chicago felt different this time. Not just bigger, more electric. Settlement talks for the class action suit had stretched into weeks, but the city's lawyers finally cracked. They didn't want a full trial. Too much evidence. Too much media. Too many eyes watching. Aaliyah Thompson, now 20, sat at the long conference table in a crisp black suit, her first new one. Bought with the first real paycheck from a fellowship grant. Silver bracelet still on her wrist. Across from her, city attorneys in expensive ties. Daniel Hargrove, conspicuously absent. He'd resigned weeks earlier amid the federal probe. Judge Raymond Patel mediated via video link from his chambers. The lead city attorney spoke first. We're prepared to offer $18 million total. Structured payouts, expungements for all plaintiffs, policy reforms, mandatory body cam audits, independent oversight board for narcotics cases. Aaliyah listened, pen in hand. Then she spoke. That's a start. But it's not enough. We want $28 million, $2.8 million per plaintiff, plus a $5 million endowment for community legal education in affected neighborhoods. And the reforms must be court-enforced, not voluntary. The city lawyers exchanged glances. One cleared his throat. Talia met their eyes. So was framing innocent men for years. So was ignoring recanted testimony. So was deleting footage. Aggression has a price. Judge Patel's voice came through the screen. Ms. Thompson makes a compelling point. The evidence is overwhelming. I'm inclined to push toward her numbers if we go to trial. The city folded faster than expected. After 2 more hours of back and forth, they agreed. $25 million total settlement, full expungements, court-supervised reforms. Public apology from the city council. Kane, $4 million dedicated to the Silver Bracelet Project as an ongoing legal aid fund. Aaliyah didn't smile right away. She shook hands, professional. But when the door closed behind the city team, she exhaled. Nia hugged her. We did it, Leah whispered. They did it. The plaintiffs, the officers who spoke up, my team, my family. The announcement hit national news that evening. CNN Chicago pays $25 million in wrongful conviction scandal led by 20-year-old attorney. The New York Times ran a profile. From diner shifts to federal court, Aaliyah Thompson's rise. Social media exploded. Hashtag Silver Bracelet soared. People across the country started silver bracelet challenges, tying silver strings or ribbons on wrists, donating to local legal aid, sharing stories of injustice. Celebrities posted photos. A major streaming service greenlit a limited series based on the case. Aaliyah turned down most interviews, focused on the work, but the victory brought emotional weight. One night, after the settlement papers were signed, Aaliyah sat with her mother in the clinic's back office. Tanya had become indispensable running client support groups, helping with intake. She looked at Aaliyah. "You okay, baby?" Aaliyah nodded slow. "It's a lot. Winning feels good, but remembering why we fought hurts." Tanya reached across, touched the bracelet. "Your grandma would say, pain is the forge. It makes you stronger, not broken." Aaliyah's eyes filled. "I miss her." Tanya's voice cracked. "I miss her too, Kay. And I'm sorry I wasn't here when you needed me most." Aaliyah took her mother's hand. "You're here now. That matters." Marcus joined them soon after. He'd started working as a community liaison for the project, visiting churches, barbershops, talking to families about rights and resources. He brought takeout from their favorite soul food spot. They ate together, laughing about old times, crying about lost years. For the first time in decades, the Thompson family felt whole, not perfect, but healing. Recognition poured in. Leah received a Thurgood Marshall Award from the NAACP, spoke at Howard University Law School, started a podcast, Bracelet Stories, interviews with exonerees, young lawyers, activists. The project expanded. Offices in Milwaukee and Detroit, national replication grants, Kading Academy for high schoolers from underserved communities. Future bracelets, they called it. One afternoon, Aaliyah walked through the original clinic space now, a youth mentorship center. A 16-year-old girl named Keisha waited for her. "I want to be a lawyer like you." Kia sat beside her. "Then study hard, fight harder, and never forget who you're fighting for." Keisha touched a silver string on her wrist. "I won't." Aaliyah looked out the window at Chicago's skyline. The city that tried to break her family had been forced to bend. Not fixed, not yet, but changed, 'cause one girl refused to stay small. She touched her bracelet, whispered, "Thank you, Grandma. We're keeping the promise." 2 years after the historic settlement, the Silver Bracelet Project was no longer just a clinic in Chicago. It had become a movement. Offices in 7 cities: Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Baltimore, Philadelphia, and New Orleans. Over 200 lawyers, paralegals, and activists trained. Teach more than 1,400 cases, resolved expungements, compensations, police reforms. The foundation had grown to 42 million Australian dollars endowment, funded by donations, federal grants, and even royalties from an Emmy-winning documentary. Aaliyah Thompson, now 22, still wore her navy blazer on important days, but now, with a silver pen beside her grandmother's bracelet, she no longer led alone. It was a network, quote, an extended family. The legacy solidified on a crisp autumn morning when Aaliyah returned to the very courtroom where it all began. Not as counsel this time, as a guest speaker. Retired Judge Harlan Whitaker had personally requested she address the swearing-in ceremony for new judges. He sat in the front row, eyes misty. Aaliyah stepped to the podium. She looked out at the room full of black robes, young attorneys, families, press. She touched her bracelet. 7 years ago, I was a 15-year-old girl watching my father get handcuffed for the second time. I had no money, no connections, no power. Only a promise I made to myself. Learn the law to fix what was broken. Today, thousands of people breathe free air because we refused to stay silent. It wasn't one person. It was a chain. Every client who believed. Every volunteer who stayed late. Every mother who brought coffee. Every child who saw a black woman lawyer and thought, I can do that too. Applause thundered. Whitaker stood first. Then the rest. Aaliyah stepped down and met him. He extended his hand. I was wrong about you, and you taught me. Aaliyah shook it firmly. We all make mistakes. The important thing is to correct them. He smiled. You corrected more than I ever will. That evening, celebration took place at the new Silver Bracelet Community Hub, a renovated building with classrooms, a legal library, therapy rooms, and even a small daycare for clients' children. Aaliyah walked through the packed hall. Marcus danced with Tanya. They had truly reconciled, living together again, slowly, with therapy and patience. Nia, now executive director of the Chicago branch, toasted with the new interns. Keisha, the 16-year-old Aaliyah had mentored, was there now 18, accepted to law school on a full scholarship. Then came the moment no one expected. Kayla sucked the microphone. Silence fell. He looked at Aaliyah. KB, you saved my life. But more than that, you've saved so many others. Okay? And now I have a promise to make. He turned to the crowd. I want everyone to know my daughter isn't doing this alone anymore. We're with her forever. He called Aaliyah to the stage. She climbed up, confused. Marcus pulled a small box from his pocket. Inside, a tiny silver pendanta miniature bracelet, engraved with a promise keeper. He placed it around her neck. This is from all of us, 'cause you reminded us that promises are worth more than money. Kalia cried. She hugged her father. Tanya joined, Naya, Keisha. A circle formed arms around each other. But the cycle truly continued that same night. While the party hummed, a shy 14-year-old girl slipped through the door. Braided hair, scared eyes. Her name was Maya. She approached Aaliyah. My mom's in jail. They said she stole, but she didn't. I don't know what to do. Aaliyah knelt to her level. Okay, Maya, you came to the right place. We'll help your mom, okay? And we'll help you too. Want to join our mentorship program? Okay. Maya nodded, tears falling. Leah took a spare silver bracelet from her pocket, one she always carried on, tied it around the girl's wrist. This is to remind you, someone believes in you. You're going to be okay, I promise. Maya held the bracelet tight. Thank you, Aaliyah smiled. Don't thank me yet. We'll work together. As Maya was led to speak with a counselor, Aaliyah stood at the door, gazing into the Chicago night. City lights twinkling. Thousands of lives touched. Thousands still waiting. She touched the new pendant at her neck, her grandmother's bracelet. The one for the daughter she didn't yet have. And she thought, the cycle doesn't stop. Scrolls. Text appeared on screen, like the end of a documentary. The Silver Bracelet Project has freed more than 2,300 people from wrongful convictions. It operates in 12 states. It has trained over 500 young lawyers from marginalized communities. Aaliyah Thompson continues to lead, now as national director. Kia, she and her family, Marcus, Tanya, and a network that has become Family Keep Fighting. Final image, Aaliyah walking hand in hand with Maya down the street. Bracelets glinting under streetlights. Camera pans up to Chicago's skyline. Hundreds of silver bracelets tied to a symbolic fence outside the hub, each one representing a life changed. A promise kept, an unbreakable chain. If you're watching this and you feel invisible, trapped, wronged, don't give up. Your Aaliyah is coming. Your chain is forming. Hold on. And if you have something to give, time, money, a word of encouragement, give it. You never know whose future you'll change. One bracelet changed Aaliyah's life. One promise changed a city. One girl changed the system. What will you give today? What promise will you keep? The cycle continues. It starts with you.